For this recipe, you're going to need Italian breadcrumbs, milk, salt, Worcestershire sauce, pepper, onion, eggs, and lean ground beef. Our first step in this recipe is to mince an onion, meaning we need to chop it up really, really small. So you can do this with a chef's knife and your cutting board, or you can cheat a little bit like I am and use an electric food processor. So this is what I'm going to use. You'll notice it's kind of like the manual food processors that we've used before, but this one is just electric, so it has a little bit more power. So all I need to do is cut up this onion into large chunks. So I cut it in half, peeling off the outside, and then put those large chunks of onion into the bowl. This is also really helpful if you cry while you're chopping onions like I do. So this saved me some tears. So now we're going to take all of our ingredients for the meatballs and we're going to add them to our lean ground beef. Now we need to mix all these ingredients together. So you could use your hands, but because I have longer nails and I don't like to get raw meat stuck under my nails, I'm going to use a potato masher to mix it all up. One thing that we need to remember when we're making a recipe with meat or poultry is that when you're working with the raw meat, we want to make sure that we're preventing cross-contamination. Cross-contamination happens when the germs and bacteria that are present in the raw meat get on anything that's cooked or that we're not going to heat up again. And so those things can make us sick. So we want to make sure that any of the tools or equipment that we use that have touched this raw meat get washed with hot soapy water, or we can put them in the dishwasher to make sure that they get fully sanitized. Next, we're going to take a bar pan, line it with tin foil, and spray it with baking spray over the sink. Now it's time to shape the meatballs. So you could do this with your hands, but we want to avoid cross-contamination. So you would need to wash them really, really thoroughly after you've shaped the meatballs. What I like to do is use a cookie scoop. You tightly pack the meat mixture into your cookie scoop, and then you can just put it onto the pan, like so. And remember, when we're making meatballs, they're not like cookies or baked goods. They're not going to rise or get bigger in the oven, so you can put them really close together on the pan. If you wanted to do this with your hands, then you would take a small scoop of the meat mixture, roll it around into a ball shape, and then set it on the pan. Now these are ready to go into the oven. It's set at 400 degrees, and we're going to bake them for about 18 to 22 minutes. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes and the meatballs are looking done on the outside, but in order to check that they're safe to eat, we need to use a thermometer and we're gonna test and see if the inside is cooked to 160 degrees. That's gonna tell us that they're safe to eat. Now we need to work on our spaghetti pasta and our sauce. So we're gonna fill up a stock pot about 2/3 full with water and we're gonna bring that to a boil. So our burner is on high. Then we're gonna grab a skillet and we're going to add our spaghetti sauce to our skillet. Once the water is boiling, we're gonna set the heat down to medium and we're gonna add our pasta. Our pasta is going to cook for about 8 minutes or until al dente. Now we're gonna add all the meatballs to the sauce, and we're gonna set our burner to medium-low and bring it to a simmer, meaning little bubbles. Our pasta is done, so now we need to drain off the water using a colander. So we're gonna set the colander into the sink, and very carefully, we're gonna pour the pasta and water into the colander. Now I know a lot of people like to rinse their pasta, but I really don't recommend this. This is not a proper practice. If you want to keep your pasta from sticking, all you need to do is drizzle over a little bit of olive oil on your pasta and then give it a quick toss, and then it won't be sticky. Let's check on our sauce. So we can see these little bitty bubbles. They're not big boiling bubbles, but they're the small bubbles that we look for a simmer. So that means our sauce is ready to go. Now all that's left to do is plate up our spaghetti and meatballs. So we're gonna make a nice bed of pasta on the bottom. And then we'll take a scoop of our meat and sauce, put that on top. Not too much, not too little. And finish it off with a little sprinkle of shredded Parmesan cheese.